Hi, hello, I'm Sam Harrison. I read, review and discuss fantasy and science fiction books. And today I'm here to give you a review of Soul Fraud by Andrew Givler, which is the first novel in the Debt Collection series. And this is an urban fantasy about a young man living in Los Angeles. I say young man, he's like 20 something, 24? 24? Yeah, because he's 25 in the next book, which is a year later. Anyway, this is a self-published series, which I read through Kindle Unlimited and also by buying the book from Audible, which was the audiobook's genuinely fantastic for this. I listened to like 90% of this via audiobook and I read the last bits. I'm going to stop holding that up right now, but I do want to show you guys the cover is awesome. Like, it's a Chris McGrath cover who does the covers for the Dresden Files and for the Hybrid Helix, so like legit it's a great cover, and it does really match with the tone of the book as well, but anyway, let's go back into the book. So this is going to be a non-spoiler review, so I will not be going into the kind of how it ends and spoiling all the revelations and the fun stuff. I'm mostly just going to be talking about how I felt about the book. I'm going to give you guys the plot hook, and I'm going to talk a little bit about characters, and then I'll tell you at the end how I rated it and whether I'll be continuing on with the series, which, as a spoiler, you kind of already know because I've already referenced book 2. So, this is by Andrew Givler. Andrew Givler is also a YouTuber like me. He's a little bit more popular than I am. He has like 2 million subs or whatever. And he has a gaming channel where he does like Minecraft videos, I think. I will be totally brutally honest and tell you I have not watched a single one of his gaming videos. I've watched all of his booktube videos in the last like couple of weeks since I read Soul Fraud, and it was really good. His booktube stuff is really good and I really like watching it. I'm excited for his new series that's coming out, which is going to be, I think he said it was like a Roman-inspired lit RPG series, and I haven't loved every lit RPG thing that I've tried, but I really love things like The Wandering Inn, so hopefully I'll like that too. But let's move on. So Soul Fraud is about a young man called Matthew Carver, who his mother and his sisters died in a tragic accident on his birthday when he was at college, and they were coming to visit him and he was really depressed, so they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna come visit you. And even though everyone was like, it's raining too bad, this storm's bad, you shouldn't go, they went anyway because Matt was so upset, and then they died in an accident because they like were driven off the road by the rain or whatever. So very sad, and that also means that Matt now hates his birthday. And this book starts on Matt's birthday, and Matt is in a late night showing of Citizen Kane, and he has gone to see Citizen Kane purely because he wants to see a late night movie, he wants to be by himself, and because he hates his birthday so much, because everyone tries to make a big deal of it, and he's upset about it because it just reminds him of his family being dead and that his dad has disowned him. And suddenly, when he's in the movie, somebody sits down next to him, and this person sits down next to him has a briefcase and also red skin, horns, and a tail. He is a demon, like a pure classic, looks like Satan from the Bible, from like, I don't know, Satan from The Simpsons or whatever, like classic red skin devil. And this dude is named Dan the Demon, and he tries to buy Matt's soul because Matt's depressed. He's not got much to live for. He's a college dropout. His family is either dead or disowned him. He's in love with his best friend's fiance. He's not got a lot going for him. And off the back of not going a lot going for him, he's having a pretty bad day. So Dan the Demon is like, I've got this. I'm going to buy this guy's soul. He'll be an easy mark. And he's behind on his quota, so he needs that easy mark. And what happens, unfortunately, is that while Matt is down in the dumps, he's not dumb. So he refuses to sell his soul, and Dan the Demon eventually is like, screw it, and he forges Matt's signature and buys Matt's soul with the best level of deal that he can possibly give him, which includes that his best friend's girlfriend, fiance, is going to fall in love with him as well. So there's a lot going on, and I really enjoyed the book. You go from Matt being this kind of down on his luck kind of guy who doesn't really know what's going on with his life, to then having his soul frauded, gets him to kind of gives him a bit of motion and a bit of inertia, and he starts to, you know, try and find out what's happened to his soul, try and find out whether it's real, and he starts seeing all the effects of the deal that he's made or not made, as the case may be. And then this brings him into contact with the supernatural world through his friend Alex, who is a journalist for a supernatural newspaper, but he's also kind of got something a bit supernatural about him, which I'll let you guys find out when you read the book. Alex then introduces him to another person who is a kind of local supernatural superpower called Orion, who is a hunter who hunts supernatural, or may have in the past hunted supernatural threats. And there's a lot going on in this story in terms of the world building that really works really well. There's a lot of stuff set up in this first book in a way that, so Andrew Givler manages to set up a load of really interesting aspects of world building, of how the supernatural world interacts with the natural world in ways that I think I've only seen done this well in Dresden Files. Now, urban fantasy stuff is something that I really gravitate towards, or that I've read a lot of. I tend to be more on the epic fantasy side, but when I read a good urban fantasy, I really love it. I really like the Buffy style dialogue you often get in urban fantasy. I like the merging of the natural and supernatural world. I like the, you know, like, people complain about Joss Whedon dialogue, right? Like, people are like, oh, he's saying something flippant while he's saving the world, but like, I know that a lot of my friends would be like that. Like, I know people who have made stupid flippant comments before, like jumping out of a plane, you know, like this, people do that. Not everyone does it. People might be screaming most of the time, but like, I really enjoy a good quip, a good joke while you're saving the world. Like that is a really fun thing for me, and I'm down for it. I love Marvel movies. I love Spider-Man, and that's like kind of his thing. So Andrew Givler being able to write in that kind of Buffy, that Dresden style really worked for me. Since getting up to date on the Dresden Files, I've really felt like a bit of a gap in my reading where nothing was really scratching that itch. And Soul Fraud is absolutely the first thing that has really scratched that for me. I did try the Alex Vera series by Benedict Jacker, but it just didn't get there for me. I think that the limited power set of the main character might have been an issue there, but I'm going to maybe go back to that series one day, just to see whether it improves, although a lot of people did say book one was their favourite, so who knows. But this book series I'm definitely in for, and in fact I will spoil the end of the video by telling you that I love this so much that I have already read the second book before even getting time to film this review, and I've started the third book. So if you want to know whether I love this series, there is your answer. Hello, I'm in a field, and I'm here to talk to you about Your Paper Quest. Your Paper Quest is a bookish subscription box that is very kindly sponsoring this month of content on the channel. If you subscribe to Your Paper Quest, you will get 2 self-pub indie books selected by the editors over at Your Paper Quest, sent to you every single month. That is roughly 600 pages of fiction. Those books will be usually on a theme, like a genre such as fantasy, sci-fi or horror. And you won't just get those books, you'll also get some bookish bits in the box, and on top of that you'll also get access to the Your Paper Quest book club, where you can talk to other subscribers who are reading the books and ask questions of the authors. The authors will also post a monthly interview, and you can have this monthly, bi-monthly or quarterly in the US or the UK. And if you're interested, you can subscribe using my discount code SAM20, which will get you 20% off of your bookish box, and it'll also help the channel. So happy reading, and thanks for subscribing if you have. I think that the merging, like I said, of the natural and supernatural world is my favorite thing about this series. I really like how there's a lot of like supernatural stuff that is kind of like in hiding in plain sight, I guess. So there's like the Olympus Bar and Grill, which is where all the supernatural stuff hangs out in LA. You've also got fairy lawyers. You've got big, conglomerate corporations that are working on like magic and supernatural stuff. I really like also how the series has kind of organized the supernatural world almost like corporations. So hell is absolutely treated like a corporation, like the Lucifer is like the CEO, and then in a future book we're introduced to the CFO of hell. We talk about how Dan the Demon is like a low-level sales guy. There's a lot of really fun stuff. If you have worked in the corporate world, I think that you'll get a lot of fun jokes from this series of kind of like how corporate realities and corporate politics and stuff really works, which I did really, really enjoy. And there's more of it further down the line. It's quite funny that the books kind of have financial terminology titles, or like business terminology. So there's like Soul Fraud for book 1, the Dandelion Audit for book 2. So like obviously audit, taxation term, corporate term. And then the final one is Star Summit, and Summit is like obviously like an event that you go to for work. So yeah, I really enjoyed the whole package of the world building, this like corporate supernatural world. And character-wise also, I think that the character work is really good. So Matthew is a lot of fun. He feels like a very real person, a very real character, kind of thrust into this supernatural world. One of the things that you don't get with Harry Dresden, that you don't get with Alex Verus from Benedict Jacka, is that they have grown up in the supernatural world. So Harry Dresden knows about demons, he knows about witches and wizards and vampires and zombies and ghosts. Like, he knows it all exists. Sometimes he's surprised, but predominantly he knows everything he's coming up against, Whereas Matthew is just as blind as the reader. So when Matthew learns about something is when the reader learns about something. He learns about the Fae, he learns about demons, he learns about all this stuff. He meets a Minotaur. I think I would say, as a British person, Minotaur. So he meets one of those. It's, he's as shocked as you might be if you turned around the corner and saw a Minotaur. So I really enjoy that aspect of it. I like I felt like it was quite easy for me to put myself in Matthew's shoes. I'm not 24 anymore. However, I remember what it was like to be a dumb 24-year-old. Who kind of didn't know what he was doing, didn't have much direction in life. And while now I have that, I still remember what it was like. And I remember, I was able to really relate to Matthew and relate to his discovery of the supernatural world. I just really liked that whole thing. The kind of Matthew meets supernatural stuff. Really, really loved it. There's more of it in book 2 as well. It's kind of a bit more extreme there. But we'll get to that review when we get to it, which will be in a few weeks' time. So yeah, Matthew's a really good and interesting character. I liked the character of Violet, who is his roommate's fiance, his best friend's fiance, who he is in love with. I got the feeling, now this is just a pure theory, right? And it's not based on book 2. I have a feeling that Matthew's roommate has in the past sold his soul, and that's why Dan came to him. And my theory is that Violet, his roommate, whose name is Connor, Violet being Connor's fiance, is actually part of the deal that he struck. So Violet was previously, in my opinion, in my thought process, she's in love with Matt, but they never actually got it together. And Connor was also in love with her, and he sold his soul to get her. And he also has like a high-flying finance job. And you think like, right, so he's got everything going for him. He's got a hot fiance. He's got his high-flying finance job, and he, out of the goodness of his heart, pays for his housemate's rent long term. No, he feels guilty because he stole Violet from Matt. That's my theory. That's why I'm positing. I feel like it will come out in later books. Anyway, so yeah, Violet I really liked. I thought that Matt, like, being terrified of her because he doesn't want to ruin his best friend's relationship, was really strong and fun. Connor is quite a nothingy character. He's very, very rarely on screen, but when he was, I was just suspicious of him. Alex and Orion were both really good. Alex in particular is like, he doesn't portray the like world weary kind of attitude that you might expect from a character like his. Again, not spoiling the kind of supernatural aspect of Alex's character, but definitely something that I think you guys should read to find out about, because it's really interesting, and the way that the world building has kind of built that character up I really liked. So what do I need to run through next? What haven't we gone through? Orion's like kind of treated as a reveal when he turns up, like what he is and you know how powerful he is and the things that he can do. A lot of those are tied up in reveals in the story, so hard to talk about Orion. I feel like he gets a bit more screen time in the second book because he's in the whole book rather than introduced at a later point. So we'll talk more about Orion when we get to book 2. But for book 1, I'll say, suffice to say, character work is good, the story is really fun, the world building is really good. I'm talking about this book like it's the best book in the world ever. I think it's great. I don't really have any strong criticisms. I feel like maybe it would have been nice to have a more prominent major character who was female. Most of the female characters in this book are only really important in terms of their relationship with Matthew as the main male point of view character. But because it's in the first person, it's harder to have a prominent character that is not the main character, if that makes sense. Very much this is Matthew's book, and then every other character is an entire tier of character below him, you know? But it would be nice to see more female characters. That is addressed in book 2, where almost all the new characters introduced are female. And I did really like those characters. But we're not talking about book 2, we're talking about book 1. So that would probably be my big criticism, and that's, honestly, that is me reaching for a criticism. There's not the kind of lecherous feel that some of the early Dresden stuff has, which is fantastic, because that I kind of skim over it. It's stuff that I'm not in love with, but I'm in love with the world building and the character work, so it kind of, you know, it balances out. But I do think, if you think back to Stormfront, the first Dresden book, I do kind of feel like Soulforward was better than the first Dresden book. I think I had a better experience. I don't know. They're at least of a quality. I would say both are solid books. I really enjoyed, really good fun. And in fact, I'll tell you right now that I gave Soul Fraud a 4-star rating. And I gave the next book a 4-star rating. I didn't actually like the next book as much, but I did love Soul Fraud, so that's probably why. And it was a big surprise because I thought it was going to be good, not great, but it actually was great. So Soul Fraud, yeah, 4 out of 5, very solid rating. Cannot wait to see the next stuff coming from this series. I'm already in book 3 and I'm so excited for book 4 at the end of the month. So maybe I'll be able to read that on launch day. I'm hoping to. Maybe I'll even find another deck collection reading booktube friend that we can do a spoiler discussion for book 4. It'd be lovely to do that. But if you have loved watching this video, then please give it a like. If you have read Soul Fraud, or you are now going to read the deck collection because of this video, I would love to hear about it, so please drop down in the comments and let me know. If you have any other urban fantasy recommendations, again, please let me know. I have tried the 3 that I've talked about in this video, so you don't need to recommend those, but if there's others, please do recommend them. There's one about a necromancer that I have on my TBR, but I can't remember the name of the book or the writer, so oh well. If you also have not subscribed to the channel yet, then you should subscribe for more content around the deck collection, and also weekly reviews, bookish discussions, TBRs, all that sort of stuff. I'm hoping to interview more authors, so you'll keep an eye out on those. And if you're Andrew Givler and you're watching this, I would love to do an interview video with you once I have read all 4 books. Please drop me an email. Thanks so much for watching, and I will speak to you tomorrow.